people often think about reflection as coming at the end. In fact, reflection is way more valuable to you and often to kids if you put it earlier. So if you do it before they start, then you can find out things that will actually help you with your presentation and your assignment. If you do it at the end, they think it's over, even if it isn't. So looking at before somebody does something, and we're always asking, what do you already know about this? How can what you know help you? That's a big question in reflection, whether it's before, during, or after. What did you learn? How's it going? You need it further away from my mouth, right? What did you learn? How's it going? And how can you use what you did today in another assignment? That's a really important reflection question, because that improves you as a learner for the rest of your life. The reason reflection is important is you are not going to be there to give them descriptive feedback forever. So they have to learn to give it to themselves. And the way you do that is by asking yourself questions, reflecting on what you've done, and then you begin to run the tape in your head all by yourself. If when you leave these sessions, or if you do work with your staff, this is an activity, I'm not going to take time to do it tonight, but one of my goals is always to expand what people think of as a reflection. And making a chart and filling in the lists in these. So there are oral ways of reflecting, there are written ways of reflecting, kinesthetic, visual, symbolic, and get people brainstorming what goes in those lists. It's a good way to kind of open up the conversation. It's kind of fun, and you might come out of it with 1 or 2 new strategies. The thing about reflection is reflection is really making meaning out of your learning experiences. That's all it is. It isn't an abstract, different category of things. It's just asking kids, are you making meaning out of this? Is this making sense? I worked with a couple of chemistry teachers a few years ago, and their reflective question was, did you get it? Which they ask their kids constantly. And if that works, it's fine. Mostly kids just nod when you say that. But that's what they're asking. Is this making sense for you? Are you making meaning out of this experience? And when you do it fairly explicitly, they're better able to carry the meaning with them to the next experience than just kind of let it go. Because I've been hearing about reflection fatigue, and I've seen kids roll their eyes when somebody asks them to reflect. So I had to add the last one. So what's important about reflection? It needs to be about what students are learning. It needs to be strength-based. No one wants to reflect on their weaknesses, even the crazy golfers I live with. They're always working to strength. They're not talking about what they can't do. They're always working on what they can do, and they even have a saying that comes from someone like Ben Hogan that's about, it isn't what you're doing, it's what you're trying to do. You need to engage students in describing criteria, because that's how they get the piece, how they get the nuts and bolts of how you're going to reflect. You need to offer choice. Now, if there's anything where you can have choice, where it doesn't have to be standard, it would be reflection. Not every student needs to hand in the same thing that can be compared for reflection. That's not important. Product's not important. What's important is that every student reflects. So you may have some students who always reflect orally. You have some students who always reflect by making cartoons, using technology. Comic Life is a wonderful vehicle for reflection. We had kids at all ages making Comic Life of stories of what they've just done, and it includes their commentary on how it was going. Right? It's really powerful, rich, deep reflection. I've lost one of my bullets, but kids will value reflection if they use it and if they see that you use it. If it's just ritual, then why would they? They just get it over as fast as you can. But if they see that they can use it and that they actually improve something by using their reflection, they'll get much more engaged in it. That's true of everything. Reflection works best when teachers or others are genuinely curious about what kids are thinking and learning. So that's part of the, you shouldn't ask a question unless you want to know the answer. So when you say to the 8-year-old who has worked so hard to finish, what did you do today that helped you get this finished? Right? I'm so proud of you. You finished, and you're feeling proud. What did you do that made that work? And then finally, and this is where I had to go to Super 7+1, if it's not engaging for your students and for you, change something. You're not getting deep, rich reflection that's going to support learning. Reflection and self-assessment have enormous promise in improving student outcomes, but only if it's interesting, meaningful, and helps them make sense about their learning. Thank you.